Was smoking to all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. And we're back. We got a new video. This is why US produced eggs are banned across Europe and vice versa. So that's interesting. I'm ready to learn something and hope you guys are too. We're gonna hop right into this. Let's see what they say. I didn't even know this, so this is already new information for me, and I'm ready to hop in. Here we go.
In the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, lays out regulations for how food products should be produced and processed to ensure food safety. The United States Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA on the other hand, determines the best food consumption practices to minimize health problems. Ironically, they also determine how much rat hair should be allowed in peanut butter, rat feces in your spices, and cigarette butts in your sandwich. Unless you find more than 30 insect fragments or 1 rodent hair per 100 grams of peanut butter, 9 milligrams of rodent poop per 1 kilogram of wheat, 75 mites per 100 grams of dried mushrooms, 1 maggot per 100 grams of tomato juice, and 13 insect heads every 100 grams of fig paste, the FDA expects you to compromise with this situation because, well, no food practice is perfect, humans make mistakes, restricting food laws will increase food prices, and bugs aren't that gross. Some of them are quite healthy.
Okay, here's the thing. Even with us when we consume bugs sometimes or whatever, I bet you that's still more healthy than a lot of these chemicals that just be like all over the place, right? Like there be some crazy chemicals out here, man. I lived in New York City for about 8 years, 8 to 10 years, and I done seen some stuff.
At the same time, the USDA has laid out guidelines for how commercial eggs should be produced, processed, and stored to make sure eggs remain safe for public consumption. The UK has their own regulations, but their regulations are quite opposite to those in the US, making it illegal for eggs produced in the UK to be sold in the US and those produced in the US to be sold in the UK. But if guidelines in both the cases are made for food safety and are in the public interest, why are they so contrasting to one another? Which of them is the right practice, or are both of them equally good? In the case of American eggs, the USDA requires its egg farms to properly wash and sanitize their eggs before they reach consumers in order to remove any dirt and feces on the exterior of the eggs. These contaminants...
I mean, I agree with that. Who wouldn't want to wash your stuff? So far, not so bad as far as that regulation.
Are bacterial in nature and may pose a food safety threat when they enter a kitchen environment. For instance, one may crack open an egg and then proceed to prepare a sandwich with those bacteria-ridden hands. Also, eggshells are porous, so there's a possibility of microbes leaking inside the egg. As per the regulation, eggs are washed with warm water, at least 20 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the internal temperature of the eggs, and at a minimum of 90 degrees Fahrenheit. A detergent that won't impart any foreign odours to the eggs is also used. After washing, the eggs are rinsed with a warm water spray containing a chemical sanitizer to remove any remaining bacteria, and then are dried to remove excess moisture. Every step of this whole process is scientifically designed and must be executed with extreme care, otherwise this procedure can lead to more damage than good. For example, the drying of eggs is crucial because a dry eggshell acts as a barrier to bacterial intrusion, while the presence of moisture makes the shell more permeable, exposing it to a pathogen attack. Furthermore, moisture itself may act as a medium for bacterial growth, and water provides an excellent vehicle for pathogens such as Salmonella. The right temperature of warm washing water is important because water colder than the egg could cause the contents of the egg to contract, sucking polluted water in through the shell. Results may get worse if a facility is not careful enough to regularly change the washing water and eggs are left to sit in the dirty bath.
It's scary though, because it's like you don't know who to trust as far as people doing things properly. I feel like we really don't care much anymore, especially in America. I feel like we eat so much stuff that I can't speak for all of us, obviously. That would be idiotic to speak on everybody. But from what I see as far as a lot of people, I will say, what I noticed, they don't be caring. And I feel like that's part of the problem too, is people like for example, how many people are actually going to watch this video? Um, Even in my generation, like how many people are going to watch this video and take it like super serious? Like, oh, I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to be on top of. Most people don't even, or a lot of people don't even check expiration dates anymore. I just feel like people are so used to just being on a go and just, man, I just got to eat. I got to, I got stuff to do, that they don't really pay attention. And that is a little scary. Especially if people aren't properly, you know, doing things before they get this food delivered, like eggs and.
With such high risk of bacteria, if cleaned improperly, the UK and almost all of the world except the US believe that eggs should not be washed or cleaned before they're sold to consumers. As far as dirty eggs are
Okay, see, that's crazy to me. I'm gonna listen to the reasoning more. So,
concerned, the EU's egg marketing law encourages good husbandry on farms. Because eggs can't be cleaned or washed, it's in the farmer's best interest to produce the cleanest eggs possible, as no one is going to buy their eggs if they're dirty. This may not sound too convincing to you, but there's more to it. An egg carries a thin layer of coating on its outer surface called cuticle. This layer naturally protects eggs from almost all contamination and also keeps the eggs fresh for longer periods. Washing eggs damage most of this protective layer and makes them vulnerable to contamination from pathogens and other.
Okay, so my mind just changed in about 2 seconds. I didn't. I see. There's a science to this stuff. There's always more. So in my mind, I'm thinking, um, when I first heard, the UK doesn't, they doesn't want their eggs washed. I'm like, what? Like, ew. Why not? Why wouldn't you want your stuff washed? But now that they're breaking it down and how the eggshell already has, something to protect it, and if you wash it, and now it's just like confusing, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's confusing because it's like, what's right, what's wrong, what's right. We'd have to just look into. I think the next question would be, how much, what's the percentage of people that catch like salmonella in the UK compared to America?
Microorganisms. In absence of washing, an egg is capable of protecting itself naturally, and if care is taken while handling the eggs, the contamination of kitchen environments can also be eliminated. The UK thus believes that a little care is better than the huge risk and cost of washing eggs. Another thing that makes British eggs and American eggs different to one another.
They might have a point. Like, I would like to see the statistics on, how many people over there, like I said, get sick compared to over here due to like the eggs, due to eating eggs specifically, obviously, because the video's about eggs. But yeah, what's the difference of people catching salmonella poisoning? And I want to know the different percentage. I want to see who seems to be right and who seems to be wrong. Because the UK, now that I'm looking at this, they got a point here. I didn't know about any of that. And the average person, I'm sure we've learned it in school probably, but then you class is over, and then the next, life goes on. You don't really tend to remember, especially with so much happening nowadays, so much on the news, so much, you don't remember a lot of stuff you learned in school. But at the same, man, this just got really interesting. This got really interesting.
Is how they're stored. In the UK and almost everywhere in Europe, you can see eggs sitting in unrefrigerated shelves of supermarkets. The EU regulations stipulates that eggs should in general not be refrigerated before selling to the final consumer. Chilled eggs, when left outside at room temperature during transit between the supermarket and the customer's home, may sweat and form moisture on its surface, facilitating the growth of bacteria and probably their ingression into the egg. The American system, on the other hand, instructs its seller to refrigerate eggs under 40 degrees Fahrenheit in order to decrease the risk of salmonella. Salmonella isn't a big problem in the UK because European farmers have been vaccinating their hens against salmonella since the 1990s and have received good results.
Oh, there you go. There you go. The UK. There we go. That answered my question right there. The UK has less salmonella poisoning because it says they vaccinate But my thing is like I'm always iffy with those vaccines with those. I'm trying not to say like because nowadays I feel like it's even so like iffy to even say that word, that V word, because I hear so much about people getting banned and this and that just for saying that V word due to its connection with the C word. If you guys are keeping up, that it's like, man, you really got to be careful nowadays on what you even speak on, man, because all of a sudden YouTube, I get a notification. They think I'm speaking about something about the C word that happened in 2020, and it really it's. I know it's a lot, but that really be going on. Like people, it's some crazy times we're living in nowadays.
Outside at room temperature during transit between the supermarket and the customer's home may sweat and form moisture on its surface, facilitating the growth of bacteria and probably their ingression into the egg. The American system, on the other hand, instructs its seller to refrigerate eggs under 40 degrees Fahrenheit in order to decrease the risk of salmonella. Salmonella isn't a big problem in the UK because European farmers have been vaccinating their hens against salmonella since the 1990s and have received good results.
Okay, they received good results, but I would still want to know like what's in the V that they're put. When they're do I would want to know what's in those needles. As far as I just would want to know. Um, yeah, this is some new information for me. Some very interesting information, for sure.
Vaccination in the US is not a common practice. Because of all of these differences in how eggs are processed and stored in the two nations, British eggs are significantly richer in taste. But how would you know? British eggs can't be sold in the US, and the US ones in the UK.
Well, even though I'm still skeptical about the whole V thing, right? Do Even though they've had success since the 1990s, I still got to say the Brits win on that one. We know how processed stuff is, like severely processed stuff is in America. We know how sick people be in America. And I didn't know about the extra protection layer and this and that and how washing it actually does more. I didn't know about that stuff. So when you first hear about it, you're like, okay, why wouldn't you wash them, right? But then you dive a little deeper, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know that. So it definitely makes you wonder. I'm actually, if this video does get out there, I'm definitely interested in seeing what people got to say about this, because I'm sure a lot of people will be commenting if this hits that algorithm. A lot of people will be commenting, letting me know this, that, and the third, more things that I don't know. So looking forward to that. And with that being said, yeah, I will see you guys soon. And yeah, I haven't ate eggs in a while, and to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be eating eggs anytime soon. Yeah. With that being said, see you guys. Much love. And I thought I stopped the video. That's the egg gods right there.